a range of massive mountains, thrust upwards millions of years ago. Home of the Gelada baboon. Thousands roam the steep highlands, each group ruled by a king. A king like Braveheart. He's fought off predators, kept the peace, and in return had his pick of the ladies. It's good to be the king, but it's also like wearing a bull's eye on your back. Others want what Braveheart's got, and they'll kill to get it. The king's had a good run. Now he's older and worn down by years of battle. It's the perfect time for an uprising. Ethiopia's Simien Mountains, the roof of Africa. At nearly 4,500 meters high, they're rough and remote. These are the ramparts of a secret kingdom. For centuries, they've witnessed drama, feuds, and wars. Battles that continue today. These aren't really baboons, though they have a lot in common with their close cousins. They're geladas, a unique family of ground-dwelling primates that are only found here in the Ethiopian highlands. Herds contain several breeding units, each with related females and up to 4 males. But only one is dominant. Braveheart is the undisputed king of this group. At least for the moment. Weighing in at 20 kgs, with an impressive mane and 5-centimeter canines, there's no question who's boss. Or is there? Braveheart has a harem of 6 females with whom he enjoys exclusive mating rights. He may look fearsome, but he's not totally in charge. Sisterhood is all-powerful. They decide who stays and who goes. More importantly, they choose who takes the throne and for how long. Flo is Braveheart's queen. He rules at her pleasure. And Flo has formidable support. Her sisters, Tia and Ruva. They're next in the family hierarchy. Males come and go, but the females stay, maintaining family power. This sisterhood is tight-knit. They chose Braveheart as king, and they will decide when his time is up. A 5-year reign is a long one, and Braveheart's been at it for 4. For now, it's a day like any other day, and Braveheart's position seems secure. His workday begins at sunrise. The families spent the night on these cliffs to stay out of reach of hyenas and leopards. Before their morning grooming can take place, Braveheart must ensure everyone ascends safely, and sentries are posted. Now it's time for morning ablutions. For geladas, grooming is about a lot more than removing ticks. It's a form of social bonding between all members of the family. Braveheart's oldest kids are 3 now, and are still a firm part of the family unit. Grooming is critical to Braveheart's workday too. It's when Flo demands his undivided attention. All this doting is just the beginning. As the head of the household, he's expected to sire healthy offspring. "12 little geladas and counting. The most recent addition, Lomu, is 5 months old. But the larger the family, the harder it is for Braveheart to keep up his fatherly obligations. Now he faces a problem of his own making. The gelada's peak breeding season is 2 months away, in the middle of winter. When the females go into estrus, the harem either extends the king's contract or they hire someone else. It's all about Braveheart's performance in the lead-up. If he slacks off, he'll be replaced. His position on the throne is tenuous. After he's completed his job of grooming, it's time to eat. That means ascending further to the plateau, a flat, grassy expanse high on the mountaintops. Families join together until they form a herd 400 strong. They're here for the grass. But not just any grass. The gelada's favorite only grows at this altitude. This single food source is 90% of their diet. But it's hard work getting enough. Their heads are down for hours, leaving them vulnerable to attack. Sentries are in place and Braveheart's senses are on high alert. The red hourglass-shaped patch of skin on his chest advertises his breeding status. It'll change color with the fluctuations of hormones. Soon the female's chest patches will brighten and blister. That means they're ready to mate. Braveheart's days to impress are numbered. After a morning of plucking grass, Flo and her family need to quench their thirst. It's Braveheart's job to go ahead and check the coast is clear. The stream is also the source of a gelada delicacy. Aquatic weed is a tastier option than grass and is loaded with important nutrients. Handfuls of the slimy goodness are scooped out. They're completely preoccupied. Braveheart needs to eat too. But suddenly, hunger is the least of his problems. A bearded vulture. It's mainly a scavenger, but it will take a baby gelada. Engrossed in their grazing, the geladas still aren't aware that danger is hovering just above them. They depend on Braveheart to keep them safe. A hungry vulture with a 2.5-meter wingspan can't lift an adult. It's the babies that must be protected. Braveheart's response is under scrutiny. Losing one of his offspring to a predator could jeopardize his position on the throne. The raptors lost the element of surprise, and it goes in search of easier prey. Braveheart didn't fail in this instance. But bigger problems loom on the horizon. Bachelors. They're the biggest threat to Braveheart's rule. Not every male gets to be a king. Bachelors are outcasts, unwelcome in the herd. Gelada males leave their family units when they reach puberty at age 5 and group together to form a gang. When they sense a female in estrus, these virile males have just one thing in mind: take the throne and win a harem of their own. Braveheart's females are in their sights, and he knows it. One male sits at the top of the gang hierarchy. Tico. At 9 years old, he's ready to be king. All he needs is an opportunity. A sign Braveheart is not pulling his weight. With Tico and Braveheart, there's history. They're brothers. From a young age, they played tough. Being older, Braveheart usually came out on top. When they formed a gang, he was the dominant bachelor. But when Braveheart became king, the brothers fell out. Last breeding season, Tico attempted a coup. But experience and strength weren't on his side. 1 year later, things could be different. Every bachelor in the gang has a stake in Tico's efforts. If he becomes king, each will move up a rung in the gang hierarchy. A rising tide lifts all boats. Meanwhile, life is good for Braveheart's family. It's the end of the rainy season, and they have to eat as much as possible before the grass disappears in winter. While the parents focus on food, the young have better things to do. The steep stream bank makes a good gelada jungle gym. Play fighting from a young age is crucial to gelada development. It builds strength and coordination. But underneath the play fighting, there's a much more important goal. All young males aspire to be king. They have a life of fighting ahead of them, and the sooner they start, the better. Lomu is getting bigger and more adventurous, exploring further from his mother. It's a big part of Braveheart's job description to watch over his offspring. But this is the 12th one. And fatherhood is taking its toll. At 12 years old, he's an elderly gelada indeed. The average lifespan is 14. No wonder he's napping at his post. It's a lapse that doesn't go unnoticed. Tico is watching from the wings. Reminding the king of his precarious position and letting Flo and the others know he's available. Lomu is also at risk. If Tico takes the throne, he'll erase Braveheart's genetic legacy. He will kill Lomu and all his siblings. March in Ethiopia's Simien Mountains. The dry season is here, and the green grass of the plateau is fast turning to dust. Pickings are slim. For Flo and her family, this measly handful of roots will have to do. They're a lot of work, but nutritious. Flo's sisters, Ruva and Tia, pull their weight for the family. Braveheart should be here too, but he's nowhere to be seen. The king's taking time out from the family foraging. Flo is not impressed. All she cares about is whether he's pulling his weight, leading the search for food, and displaying his dominance in front of the bachelors. But recently, he seems almost disinterested. An attitude that could easily get this king toppled from his throne. By April, the dry season is taking its toll. Hunger, heat, and hormones are a recipe for tension in the herd. Families compete for scarce resources. And without Braveheart on guard, Flo's family is vulnerable to attack from other stressed giladas. If there's one thing that really annoys the females, it's other unrelated females. And this outsider encroaches on Flo's patch of grass. The sisters rally. They've got their point across. But they shouldn't have had to. It's Braveheart's job to intervene in family feuds and protect his females. But once again, he's let Flo down. And she lets him know it. The ultimate punishment, though, is to replace him. Everything is shaping up just as Tico hoped. If Braveheart doesn't step up to the plate, he'll lose it all. Day after day, the bachelors have watched him advertise his inadequacies and edge closer to rejection by the harem. Has time finally caught up with the Gelada king? It's one day closer to peak breeding season. After 4 years as king, Braveheart is running out of time to prove he's still got what it takes. His family goes about their usual routine. But the harem is restless. Flo's paying more attention to the bachelors on the perimeter. And Braveheart is once again lying down on the job. Tico sees his chance. Flo's sisters know this is a crucial moment. The queen will either reject Tico's advances or she'll accept them. And Braveheart is none the wiser. Lomus watch the act unfold. The shrieking rouses Braveheart. Cheating among gelada females is not uncommon, especially if their king isn't paying them enough attention. But it's best to keep it discreet. They're caught in the act. A flash of his canines reminds his younger brother who's boss. Braveheart forces Tico backwards, a sign of dominance. And taunts him into a chase. Braveheart stands his ground. Braveheart's sudden show of pride is impressive. But the harem isn't convinced. They don't rally to defend their king. Tico backs off. But this pushes Braveheart into full attack mode. Tico backs off. Luckily for Braveheart, Flo's not in estrus yet and would not have conceived in the tryst. His bloodline is safe, for now. Braveheart's had a major wake-up call. Flo has shown him just how tenuous his rule is. If he wants to keep his crown, he must regain the harem's respect. And Flo is priority one. Impress her, and he wins them all back. Suddenly, he's attentive. Settling disputes by separating squabbling females. He's even spending quality time with Lomu. In a matter of days, the sisters' breeding patches have developed blisters, a sign they're ready to mate. Flo must make her decision. Will she give Braveheart another chance? Or will she choose a new king to father her offspring? At dusk, the herd retraces its steps to the safety of the cliffs. Braveheart is on high alert. But the bachelors are keeping their distance since the brawl. At last light, Braveheart's family finds its roosting position on the ledges. Gelada night vision is poor, and they feel vulnerable. This is the moment the bachelors have been waiting for. They move closer to intimidate him. Braveheart can't fight them all. They force him further down the cliffs. Down here, he can't defend Lomu or watch that his females don't stray. Tico makes his intentions clear. The females draw their young in close. It's going to be a long, sleepless night. Braveheart hasn't slept a wink. He's climbed the cliff to find the sentries at their posts and everything quiet. He checks to make sure his family is safe and rounds them up for their journey up the cliffs. Tico and the bachelors are nowhere to be seen. It's business as usual. But Braveheart cannot drop his guard. Today could be the day that everything changes. On their commute to the plateau, Braveheart lets his family go ahead while he watches their backs. His diligent security measures mean he starts to lag behind. Until he's alone. Suddenly, he's got company. The bachelors. It's 4 against 1. Retreat is the only option. Braveheart's almost cornered in the trees. He must keep moving. He gets a moment's rest. Then makes a break for it. He runs for open ground and right into the trap. Tico is there waiting for him. Now it's brother against brother. This could be the end of one reign and the beginning of another. Braveheart delivers a bite to the face. The fight's over just as quickly as it began. On retreat, Tico searches for the other bachelors. He's badly injured. His older brother has left him with a terrible scar. And he's lost a canine. The mark of manhood. Tico's job is to now prove to his gang he's still a capable leader. Against all odds, Braveheart has clawed his way back onto the throne one more time. He reunites with Flo and Lomu. He's proved he's a valuable mate and won back his harem's respect. Braveheart may be one of the few Gelada kings to see their reign all the way to the end. For now at least, this mountain throne is his.
Forward momentum, chasing the rains, fleeing from predators, or battling the terrain. A never-ending journey to track the shifting promise of fresh grass. Wildebeest on the migration live life in fast forward. It's an epic spectacle. Vast distances and uncountable numbers. But the big picture is deceptive. The real drama unfolds close up. This is Neo's first trip, so now it's personal. Neo with 1,000 miles to cover, facing enemies intent on killing him. Crossing treacherous waters, is the one in a million, who will either live or die to fulfill his destiny. The wildebeest migration in East Africa has no real beginning or end. It's not a set route, but a relentless nomadic wandering around an area roughly the size of Denmark. The impetus to move is food and water. And because rainfall is erratic, the movement pattern echoes this. Thirst steers them across many rivers. And during the dry winter, the herds head north, close to the Mara River, their only permanent water when the rains stop. But right now, it's the rainy season, and the herds spread across the southern grass plains of the Serengeti. Today is Neo's birthday. He's not fully out, but the clock starts. Neo and Mum will never be more vulnerable than in these precious first minutes. Survival as a newborn depends on Neo hitting developmental milestones. A strong neck is a promising start. With Mum's encouragement, Neo finds his feet. Briefly. Now his goal is coordination. Mum greets her baby son. As she cleans him, she learns his unique scent, as he learns hers. Smell is how they will recognize each other if they ever get separated. And Neo's survival right now depends on them sticking together. It's a race to stand, but this vital imprinting will save Neo's life more than once. Everything he needs to know about being a wildebeest, he'll learn from Mum. She's his cheerleader, his defender, and his guide. Only 3 minutes old, and he's up. Through determination and the evolutionary wizardry that makes wildebeest offspring the most precocious of any antelope. A newborn that walks, with robust lungs and legs that have the same bone-to-muscle ratio as an adult. And now that he's vertical, his instinct is to nurse. But the herd is leaving, and it's more important to keep up. Mum has a final target for her newborn. To run. Life as a wildebeest has started. Neo is born on the short green grass in the south, but he was conceived 8 months earlier, many kilometers away. A place much more dry and loud. The air vibrates. It's the time of the rut, and from horizon to horizon, territorial bulls recruit females onto their turf to graze, and ultimately to mate. It's easy to spot the males. They exhibit a frantic urgency and call non-stop. Yet very little of this activity involves the actual mating. It's more about chasing and herding females and fighting off competing males. The humming chorus of excited bulls works its magic. Because it's this sound that stimulates the cows and brings them into estrus simultaneously. The annual rut is the biggest mass mating event on the planet. Along with Neo's mum, 500,000 females conceive in this 3-week peak. Though by comparison, the females seem quite disinterested in the whole affair. It's the males who do all the work. They remain vigilant to fight off intruders bent on stealing their prized possessions. Bulls are so pumped up with hormones during the rut, some give up resting and sleeping completely. A bull smells when a cow is in heat, and a moist nose improves his ability to sort through different odors. He also curls his lip back in the phlegm position to suck air onto a specialist scent organ that detects sex pheromones. Despite the energetic preamble, the mount is quite low-key and short. Probably because it's often done on the move. When the females don't stop, or even slow down, the poor males just have to do their best. The males may have the enthusiasm, but the females hold the power. So success depends entirely on the willingness of the females to be detained. This guy has a bit of work to do on his vocals. Their melodious mating ritual clearly works. Evidence of its success is overwhelming. 8 months later, like clockwork, along with Neo, 250,000 new tan-colored flanks pepper the plains. Mums synchronize their births to coincide with the rains and the green flush of fresh grass in the south, the most nutritious grazing on their entire journey. Perfect to provide rich milk for growing calves. At 1 week old, even the calves experiment with the lush carpet of greens. With their blunt muzzles, flexible lips, and wide rows of incisors, wildebeests are designed to crop these short, mat-forming grasses. There's plenty for everyone, because while the rain falls, there's constant new growth to compensate for heavy grazing. Neo's only a day old, and Mum keeps him close. As a newborn, his instinct to follow is strong, but indiscriminate. So Neo is drawn to any large moving object. While he's so tiny, Mum must ensure that she's the first thing Neo sees. It's one of the wildebeest wonders that most of the calves are born within a 3-week period. That's 500 newborns a day. It's a clever anti-predator strategy because the baby boom keeps most of them safe. It's difficult for a predator to pick a single target among the thousands. Difficult, but not impossible. Alone, a calf has no chance against a cheetah. Straying from mum and the herd is a death sentence. A harsh but vital lesson for Neo. Another first for Neo. Rain. Thunderstorms are an almost daily occurrence through the wet season, but they're deeply significant for the wildebeest, as the aerial beacons that trigger the entire migration. It's a strange sensation getting wet, but the drops taste nice enough. Neo watches mum for her reaction. She's even more eager to graze. The short grasses in the south are special. New growth explodes after every shower. And it's this fresh flush, rich in protein, which the wildebeest crave, and why they chase every new rainstorm. The wildebeest themselves play a vital part in this grass bonanza. Their heavy grazing further stimulates growth, and with their trampling and depositing manure, they actively create and maintain their habitat. But rain is the critical cog in this food factory. Without water, shallow roots expose the southern grass's fickle nature. Green blades wither to dry husks almost overnight, devoid of nutrients, prompting the mass exodus away from the plains. Only rain keeps the grass green. While the living is easy, the herds make the most of it, even grazing through the night to bulk up. Neo's too tiny for grass, but the perfect fit for his umbrella. When Neo is 5 days old, he takes his first journey to the marsh. The rains keep these ephemeral pools brimming with fresh water. Adjacent to the plains, it's a convenient watering hole for the thirsty hordes. Neo's led to a shallow pan where it's safe for the calves to drink. Wide open and easy for mums to spot oncoming danger. The adults navigate the deeper water. All wildebeest have to drink every 2 days. So this vital water, right next to their food, limits the distances the herds have to cover when the calves are so young. "5 days has made a big difference to Neo. He brims with confidence and curiosity. With typical youthful energy, he's desperate to stretch his legs. It's time to claim his newfound independence. As long as it's okay with Mum. With thousands of thirsty mouths to accommodate, as one group of wildebeest moves off, another pours in to take its place. There's an enemy in their midst. Hidden in the tall grass, the lioness settles right next to the herd. when she's still, she's invisible. She wants an easy target. An adult wildebeest is much heavier than she is, with horns that can pierce and even kill her. A calf is best, but difficult to spot tucked next to their mums. Panic scatters the herd. As one, the mothers gallop the calves back to the plains. The lioness seems uninterested in her kill. Another opportunity. It's Neo. He didn't leave with a rest, and he's too young to know he's in danger. Irresistible to the lioness. But Neo's not alone. And that changes everything. Mum will face this enemy for both of them. The route home takes them right past the lioness. But now Neo's prepared. With Mum's guidance, he knows the lioness means danger. And when Mum runs, he runs. When wildebeest calves stand next to their mothers, it's easy to see why these bearded ladies of the savannah are so valuable. Calves disappear. They're undetectable to predators. This subtle vanishing act is why it's crucial that calves learn to shadow their mothers. Wildebeest youngsters aren't hidden away like other antelope babies, and their precociousness makes them conspicuous. But behind their hairy veils, mothers keep their offspring safe. Neo and Mum practice following skills. He's improved a lot, keeps a steady pace and distance at her side, and even stops in sync. The ambush comes out of nowhere. 2 cheetahs. But Mom is on the attack, and immediately in pursuit when the first cheetah keeps chasing Neo. For a second time, it looks as if it's all over. But 150 kilograms of maternal fury is the game changer. Mum's not letting her son die today. And now Neo knows what to do. Run and rejoin the herd. Another week, another milestone. Neo is old enough to join the other calves in the creche, which loosely forms in the center of the herd. It's a sign he's growing up, socializing with youngsters of his own age and experiencing the security within a group. The youngsters play together, surrounded by capable minders. The mock challenges and games of tag indicate a healthy independence from their mothers. Mum's grateful for the extra freedom too. Relieved of babysitting duty, she's free to graze a little distance away. But no one notices when Neo bounces right out of the circle on his own mission. It's business as usual at the creche. Neo can't place those ears, and short grass hides a lot if you're not tall. The hyena junior is a baby himself, equally curious about the strange smell and shape coming closer. They have no knowledge of each other, so no aggression or fear. Their relationship as predator and prey hasn't been defined yet. It's just another game. Until his mother arrives. Neo remembers his lesson. Run. He's in no immediate danger. A week-old calf can easily outrun a hyena. Junior loses a playmate, but Neo learns to identify another predator enemy. Mum comes the moment she hears Neo call. But the danger is past, and for the first time, he didn't need Mum to rescue him. Childhood doesn't last forever. Eventually, the rain does stop, and the herds begin the journey away from their southern pastures for another year. There's nothing left to sustain them here. Dead grass transforms the plains into a dust bowl, and the marsh pans degenerate to unpalatable soda lakes. Rain is now falling on the long grass further north, and they must follow. But the females anticipated this change, and the months on the plains prepared them and their calves for their trek. Neo is a sturdy 3-month-old. He no longer has the sooty face of a baby calf, and sports his darker adult coat and little devil horns. And they're off. Millions tuned into the same restless impulse to move. Now their awkward body shape makes sense. Because it's their heavy-fronted design that allows them to cover such vast distances day after day in their easy loping canter. A bull neck and tall shoulders aren't pretty, but they're key to the wildebeest's perseverance. Even marathon runners have to rest sometime, and after 2 days on the trot, a river is a vital pit stop. There's always high energy at the first river crossing. Water offers relief from the sun, an opportunity to wash off the dust and pesky flies. And most of all, a drink. But a killer lives here. The most terrifying of all wildebeest enemies because of his ability to disappear. The smell of water is irresistible, but experience warns of the risks. No one is prepared to be first. The adults remember crocodile attacks from previous years. Soon, the crush of new arrivals will force a decision at the front of the queue. Neo is so thirsty, he could bundu bash his own path down to the river. But Mum's voice restrains him. From this vantage point, he can safely watch the front runners and learn about his new enemy. Thirst eventually overcomes fear. They remain on high alert. It only takes a quarter of a second for a crocodile to launch right out of the water. They're lucky. This was just a recce. Death is a steep price to pay for a drink of water. Miss. But there's nowhere for the herds to escape to. It's backed up all the way up the bank. There are thousands of wildebeest waiting to drink. Now the leaders are forced into enemy territory by the surge of bodies from behind. Third time, unlucky. They lose a herd member. Mercifully, it's a quick death. But the brutal attack shocks the herd into action. The priority changes. It's the perfect time to cross while the enemy is distracted. They'll return for a drink later. The blood sacrifice is paid for a safe passage. Neo can't wait. It's quite different from the gentle pan he's used to. Waves make it difficult to breathe. Mom wants to cross immediately while the sheer numbers keep them safe. It's a gentle, shallow river, but still almost covers Neo. Swept along by the energy of his herd mates, Neo's first crossing is a success. Although separate groups of wildebeest reach the rivers at different times, they use very specific crossing points, which is why there's excessive bottlenecking. They choose a narrow section and cross as fast as possible to limit the time they're exposed in the water. A tight formation has the same benefit in the water, to make it difficult for a predator to separate one from the bunch. It lasts the morning, but Mum and Neo's herd crosses without further incident. Over the next few weeks, the movement pattern repeats itself as wave after wave of wildebeest push ever northwards. River crossings follow time drinking and grazing on the long grass plains. The yellow patches may look unappetizing, but deep roots make these grasses drought resistant and reliable through the dry season. They've done well. Neo and Mum are only 2 days away from their winter pastures, and their ranks have swollen. Herds converge in their thousands for one final hurdle, the Mara River. Now 5 months old, Neo has the chunky, muscular body of a young adult. He's going to need it for his upcoming swim. And where the herds gather, predators wait. The lioness follows in plain sight. She wants the wildebeest to see her. She's at a massive disadvantage. The hordes are retreating. It's way too late for an ambush attack. This calls for something less subtle. A stampede. There's always profit to be made from panic. One cow bolts away from the herd. A fatal mistake. The rest of the herd rallies. They can't help the cow, but if they stick together, they limit the damage. In an emergency, the compulsion to herd is one of the wildebeest's greatest strengths. But accidents happen. Life changes in an instant, and without warning, there's a crisis. Neo is in pain. It's difficult to move. His leg twisted badly when he sprinted away from the lion. A wildebeest with a limp is a broken thing. Neo can barely walk, let alone run. Mum has an impossible choice: stay with Neo or catch up to the herd. Neo's injury turns them both into targets. But if she abandons him now, she's condemning him to death. Her best option is to keep moving them closer to the others. But every moment they slip farther behind. If Neo can rest and heal, he may have a chance. But it means spending the night alone. Her encouragement spurs him, but he's finished. She makes her decision. Now her son comes first. By morning, 10 kilometers ahead of Mum and Neo, the first of millions arrive at the Mara River. It takes days for everyone to cross. The Mara is a unique challenge. Deep water and steep banks distinguish it from every other crossing, so the herds gather to build their numbers and confidence. They get a running start at the shallow end, but the sandbank drops off sharply and they hit the deep end. When they lose their footing, they lose their speed. Forced to swim for the opposite bank, the wildebeest are sitting ducks. These river monsters don't have to hide. They can target anyone. Water is their realm. But there's another challenge. A rip current drags the swimmers off course, tripling their time in the water and offering the worst possible exits. Panic drives them forward without thought. And the hordes keep on coming. Cannon fodder for the enemy. The wildebeest's hardwired tenacity is both a blessing and a curse. Some individuals are crushed and trampled in the chaos. But the same stick-at-itness gets others out of impossible situations. Despite the hardship, most make it across. There's something infectious to overcoming adversity in a team. And wildebeest epitomize this. Eight kilometers back, far from the mayhem, Neo is making progress. A good night's rest and Mum's slow pace has helped a lot. But someone has noticed their isolation. And the rocking pattern of Neo's limp is a green light to attack. Certainly worth investigating. One hyena isn't a serious threat. It shouldn't interfere with Mum's plan to rejoin the herds in the next few days. Neo can run, but he can't maintain it. Mum makes it clear they don't want company. Back to the mission. Get Neo well and catch up to the herd. It takes 3 days, but Mum and Neo join the final throng of wildebeest waiting to cross the Mara River. They're both frantic with thirst, so Mum initiates the move to the water. But there's a problem. It's too dangerous to drink or cross now, and Mum warns the others. She can only keep Neo safe in a crowd, so she'll wait for reinforcements to mob the crocodile. But Neo's desperate. His mouth burns. So Mum rallies the herd around him to let him drink. With the herd at critical mass, they dive in. But the river is no different today. The current is still furious. Hampered by his weak leg, Neo battles to keep up. It's a cruel irony that such a narrow crossing is such an epic struggle. Programmed to follow like sheep, today's herds face exactly the same pitfalls. Exits are jammed in the panic to leave the water. With nowhere to go, wildebeest clamber over each other, injuring comrades that block the way. Still they press on, driven by a stubbornness that's unrelenting. Spindly legs that look ready to snap carry most safely to the grass. 5 meters from shore, Neo loses his battle against the current. But Mum doesn't give up on him. With no thought of her own safety, she turns against the herd. Swims back across the river to find her son. Crushed in the frenzy downstream, it doesn't look good for Neo. Mum's bravery goes unnoticed. All around her, individuals are wrapped up in their own survival. It's her final act as a mother. In the great scheme of things, it's just one more death, a mere statistic. But a precious bond of mother and son is broken forever. and life goes on. Driving forward, the only way they know. Finally, the tail-enders see the back of the river. There's no mourning for the dead. A few lives are sacrificed for the many. It's a survival strategy that's worked for millennia. This year's carcasses are abandoned at the river. But one heart still beats here. And perseverance is in Neo's very DNA. Water washes away more than dust and grime. It's a new start, and his focus is to find Mum. He can't see her in the pile, and he doesn't pick up her scent. A wet nose won't change things. He will never smell her again. He has to rely on the strength within. Mum's lessons kept him out of danger and taught him to keep moving. She did her job well. Her determination and feistiness shine through her son. He knows what to do. Find the herd. He won't let her down. And so, when Neo rejoins the herd, it's not the end. Like the migration, his story and his journey continues. He can't predict his fate, but he can meet it at a gallop.
In the desert, the sun is your ultimate enemy, but overcoming searing heat and thirst is just the beginning. Predators here strike with fascinating bursts of speed. A world of action is hiding in the blink of an eye. In Namibia's ancient desert, temperatures soar to 55 degrees. And yet, unique creatures have conquered these searing dunes. In the wilderness, you're either quick or you're dead. The annual rainfall index is less than an inch. But in reality, it just never rains. So predators here have to rely on their prey for moisture. And in such an open environment, speed isn't a bonus. It's a necessity. The shovel-snouted lizard is one of the fastest on the dunes. But being fast isn't as easy as it looks. Clever adaptation is essential for speed in this environment. The faster you move, the faster you sink into the sand. But the shovel-snouted lizard can run at 1 meter per second. For her size, that's amazing speed. 20 times her body length in 1 second. Long hind legs are driven by powerful thigh muscles that work like an engine. The rear stride length is much longer than the front. So it runs on only 2 legs instead of 4, using the front legs to steer. But it's the foot structure that makes all the difference. The back foot's large area is a paddle that pushes the body forward, while long tendons act like springs, adding ride height. It uses this speed to kill. The prey provides the lizard with all the energy and liquid it needs. But its challenges go beyond just food and water. It's hot. Hot as Hades. The sand can reach 60 degrees. So the lizard does a dance to release heat. Its feet would cook, so it gives each one a break. But this tactic has its limits. It's time to find a cooler spot. The flattened snout is the perfect wedge for a sand dive. The nostrils are set back, so sand doesn't enter the nasal cavity. Strong forearms clear the way forward, while the powerful hind legs kick sand to the side, swimming the lizard to a cooler, safe zone. The lizard can remain buried 45 centimeters down for 24 hours. It's also a good way to escape predators. These dunes aren't exactly crawling with life, so all potential prey needs to be investigated. But not all opportunities are what they seem. This snake can travel at speeds of almost 30 kilometers per hour. Only the black mamba is faster. This is the Peringue's adder, also known as the sidewinder. Sidewinding is the equivalent of the horse's gallop in the snake world. It's the fastest way to get around. It's also the best way for a snake to cross loose, shifting sand. In sidewinding, only 2 parts of the snake are on the ground simultaneously. With a head and tail firmly anchored, it throws its body forward in a loop. Then the head is thrust forward. As soon as that lands, the tail is brought up, and so on. This movement is like a foot pushing down, allowing the snake to move forward without sliding, even on shifting sand. Sidewinding also cools the snake. It reduces the body's contact with the hot sand, much like the thermal dance does for the shovel-snouted lizard. But the sidewinder doesn't use the speed to chase down prey. The lizards are just too fast. Instead, the snake sets up an ambush. Although snakes don't have ear openings, they can hear vibrations via two specialized bones in the skull. When prey is close, a burst of muscle activity generates tension between the ribs. The elastic recoil propels the head and fangs forwards at tremendous speed. A shovel-snouted lizard arrives on the scene. He stops to pick up a moth. Big mistake. In the scorched desert, the lizard is not just a meal, but an important source of water too. "60 kilometers away, the dunes meet the icy Atlantic Ocean, creating the skeleton coast. Almost everything has abandoned this coastline, even humans. Now it's just a town of ghosts. The brown hyena is the only large predator that survives here. And their only competitors are black-backed jackals. At dawn, the scorched desert gets lighter, but even meaner. And there are 6-legged tigers on the prowl in these mean streets. The temperature soars. Only the hardest survive. In this frontier town, it's not only about how fast you can run, it's about how quick you can draw your weapon. The tiger beetle has evolved supersized jaws for a killer bite, even for much bigger prey. Fights are often to the death here, even against their own kind. At over 6 centimeters long, these are the world's largest tiger beetles, by a long shot. Some tiger beetle species can run at 2 meters per second. For its size, that's the equivalent of a human running at 900 kilometers per hour. But when 2 tiger beetles clash, It's the size of the jaws that counts. It's over in seconds. But slowed down, the fight becomes a gruesome spectacle. The massive mandibles resemble a scimitar, but with a torturous addition of dagger-like spikes. They open to 180 degrees and overlap when closed, so they can take on large prey items with crushing force. But unlike a hunt, in a fight, it's not over quite so fast. Strong armor covers their body, protecting the soft organs inside. This exoskeleton is made from chitin, a stronger version of keratin. The same substance that human fingernails, rhino horns, and horses' hooves are made from. Even the massive mandibles can't pierce it. But there's a chink in the armor. These plates have joints. Like wrestlers, each tries to gain the upper hand. The threat to his territory must be eliminated. A bite to the neck, and it's all over. The mandibles penetrate between the thorax and abdomen, and the crushing force severs the nervous system. Death follows swiftly. Fog from the cold Atlantic. The whole town is enveloped like it never existed. But the fog doesn't make it far inland. It's just too hot. In the first dune fields, there's a surprising visitor. Normally a hunter of the open plains, this big cat ventures onto the sand out of desperation. Summer has come and gone, and still no rain has fallen. This isn't the savannah, but the spotted cat is surprisingly well adapted to conditions in the dunes. The cheetah may be the fastest land mammal, but few have seen it operating in conditions as tough as these. Great springbok herds would graze on these plains after summer rains. But there's not a springbok in sight. Cheetahs are surprisingly efficient in soft sand. They spread their toes wide for better balance and traction. The large surface area of the paws and ridged foot pads allow them to push against the sand rather than sinking in, thus maintaining acceleration. Sweat glands between the pads, the only sweat glands a cheetah has, go some way to shedding heat. But it's still hot work. Every effort raises body temperature. It's already 32 degrees. The cheetah has to shed excess heat now. New research shows that the vertebral venous plexus, a system of veins between the shoulder blades, is much more extensive than in any other cat. In times of heat stress, there is an increase of blood flow to this area. So while panting cools blood around the mouth and tongue, the cheetah's back serves as a radiator that allows for convection, radiation, and evaporation, rapidly shedding heat that would otherwise be fatal. The delicate balance between overheating and speed is pushed to the edge in the desert, and there's nowhere to hide. Then he spots something. He can't reach 100 kilometers per hour in the soft sand, but he's at full power. It's a mouse. In a time of plenty, it would be a mere plaything, but in the scorched desert, it's a great prize. Enough hunts like this, and he may survive until the springbok return. The Namib Desert is over 45 million years old. The sand dunes at 300 meters are some of the biggest in the world. Towering, barren barriers. And yet home to more unusual residents. This is a chameleon with a difference. It lives on the ground, and it's the world's fastest. It needs to be. It's got one eye out for predators, while the other is searching for prey. No trees, no shade, no water. This chameleon has to have a plan to beat the heat if it's to survive. Exposed sand and baking sun. It's a death trap. But the Namakwa chameleon is a desert veteran. Its toes are fused to form glove-like feet, perfect for climbing tufts of grass to escape the heat. But the toes can also spread, and like snowshoes, they provide a bigger surface area to prevent the chameleon from sinking down, while claws provide grip. A fast pursuit is key to finding prey and avoiding roasted feet. But despite all this complex engineering, this chameleon can't stay out on the sand all day. It's got to find a cooler spot. Fast. This dung beetle is the perfect protein snack. But right now, the chameleon has other priorities. Like surviving for another day. It must escape the sun, or find a way to beat it. By changing color, the chameleon can control its body temperature. Layers of color cells, or chromatophores, are wired to the nervous system and constantly respond to temperature. If the chameleon wants to warm up, its body sends a signal to these cells, which turn a darker color, allowing the skin to absorb heat. When the chameleon wants to cool down, the cells become lighter, reflecting the sun's energy, cooling the chameleon. But the sun is still winning. If the chameleon doesn't cool, he'll dehydrate and die. He has to get off the ground. When the sun loses its edge, it's time to hunt. This is one of the dune's fastest creatures. But this darkling beetle is also food. Catching it is the ultimate challenge. It's so fast, its legs are invisible. It can cover 50 times its own body length in a second. That's 10 times the relative speed of an Olympic sprinter. This may be the world's fastest chameleon, but it's eating the beetle's dust. Large hind legs and long femurs give the beetle power and a long stride. Legs spin faster than the eye can see. Long tarsi, or feet, push off the ground and lift the beetle above the hot sand, while its speed creates cooling headwinds. It's very difficult to catch. The chameleon's legs don't move as fast, but it has something up its sleeve. Complex muscular tongue shoots out of the mouth at top speed, while a bulbous sticky end targets the prey. It leaves the mouth as a bullet shape, but muscles cup the tip as it hits home. The cup fastens around the prey, creating a suction effect, guaranteeing one more meal. And any extra fat reserves are stored in the base of its tail, in anticipation of tough times ahead. In a fraction of a second, the tables are turned. But the chameleon isn't hunting alone. A new predator arrives. The chameleon's not keen to share his beetle bounty. But the caracal is desperate. The scorched desert is a tough hunting ground. Luckily for the chameleon, the caracal has picked up a different kind of scent. Her finely tuned senses are fired up. Humans have only 6 ear muscles, but each caracal ear is controlled by 20. They can move and tilt the ears independently. 3 main muscular groups work separately. The superior raises the ear. The posterior moves the ear outwards and back, and the cervico lowers the ear downwards. Large ear dishes capture sound waves and direct them into the ear canal. Its ear canals are proportionately longer than those of humans and dogs, and are far more sensitive to sound. But there's not much viable prey around. She's wasting valuable energy. A different hunting strategy is needed, and fast. She ventures out of her comfort zone and onto the lowland plains. Surface water is a luxury in the Namib, but Namakwa sand grouse have a secret supply system. These birds are the long-haul jets of the desert. They will fly 150 kilometers for water. With a cruising speed of 80 kilometers an hour, they can fly the width of the Namib Desert just to refuel. With over a year of no rain, animals are clutching to a thin lifeline. But thanks to an incredible adaptation, male sand grouse can carry water home to their chicks in their very own cargo hold. These birds are equipped with special belly feathers, which have thousands of tiny filaments that act like a sponge. When the feathers are dunked, water is absorbed into the spaces between each filament. The sand grouse can carry half a teaspoon of water at a time, liquid cargo they'll take back to the nest. Evaporation is fast, but their top flying speeds ensure a successful delivery to thirsty chicks. The sand grouse are also the perfect lure for a hungry caracal. But they've perfected the art of the speedy getaway. Long pointed wing feathers give the sand grouse a powerful 12-inch wingspan. The wing is much longer than it is wide, which provides a large vertical lift area, great for a quick takeoff. The caracal makes a beeline for the sand grouse's waterhole. The shy cat is rarely active in the day. But in the harsh desert, predators don't stick to mealtimes. She knows that where there's water, there's prey. She may be slight, but she's got a secret weapon. Timing's just off. The sand grouse are airborne, but she's not done yet. Muscle-bound hind legs act like powerful twin engines to propel the caracal 2 meters into the air. Strong shoulder joints swipe long forelegs in wide arcs, while her splayed paw with inch-long claws increases the chance of an impact. A supple spine with 30 vertebrae, 6 more than humans, can adjust during freefall, meaning the caracal almost always lands upright. And a cartilage buffer system is essential for landing without injuring her secret weapons. Another miss. The sand grouse are off. But greater forces are about to give this caracal a lucky break. It's been 14 months without rain. Few animals are active in this desperate period. But change is in the air. A flock of sociable weavers are getting ready to breed. The waterhole has kept them alive so far, but they're being watched. she has to rely on camouflage and cover to get as close as possible. A silent ambush is key. The caracal's feet are designed for a surprise attack. The fur between her foot pads consists of stiff hairs, providing muffled footfalls. This allows her to get within meters of prey before triggering the alarm. She's off. The caracal's powerful hind legs and fine-tuned reflexes make her agile. The powerful slap has injured the weaver. But meals don't come easily in the desert. It's over in seconds. Thanks to her streamlined speed and agility, she can finally enjoy a meal. The few lucky weavers that escaped the caracal's claws have completed their nest building. But someone else has been following their progress. Speed is the Cape Cobra's obvious trump card. Whatever prey he does find in the desert will struggle to sidestep his lightning strike at a cool 2 meters per second. But this is his stealthy approach. Rough bark gives good grip, leading him to the scent of helpless chicks. But it's not as simple as it seems. Sociable weavers build the largest nests in the world, and each is home to hundreds of breeding birds. This haystack apartment block consists of countless separate nest tunnels, but it's built like a fortress. The entrances face the ground, making it almost impossible for predators to get in. The weavers won't risk their lives fighting off the intruder. The cobra's too quick for that. But its speed is compromised by this obstacle course. Its scales are smooth and streamlined, and it's struggling to get purchase under the nest. There's a weak point. Food is all around, but the problem is getting it. The backup plan is length and strength. The cobra anchors a coil in one empty nest, while stretching into another. But not all the chambers are occupied. A forked tongue works overtime, picking up scents. The giant nest is a complex maze. He scents a chick nearby. potent venom paralyzes and kills the chick in seconds. Exhausted, he falls to the ground. The weaver was a tasty appetizer, but now the cobra is in search of his main course. A maze of underground burrows on the desert plains are home to hundreds of African ground squirrels. Today, the squirrels are on the Cape Cobra's menu. But these feisty rodents have had their fair share of snake attacks, and they're not about to drop their guard. The cobra has blown its cover. Squirrel colonies usually work together to fend off predators. But this female has decided to go it alone. She fluffs her tail to appear bigger. It distracts the cobra and shields her body from the snake's strikes. Sharp teeth deliver a quick bite to its tail. The cobra's strike would kill her in minutes. Her cocky confidence takes a hit as she's struck. But it's just a blade of grass. It's a reality check. She needs to back down. The action has caught the attention of a far meaner neighbor. The squirrel's lost her nerve. But lucky for her, this yellow mongoose comes to the rescue. Snakes to the mongoose are like peanuts to the squirrel. This is when the cobra will use his speed. They are each other's prey, but they're also deadly opponents. The mongoose circles, waiting for a weakness. A quick strike needs a Matrix-style getaway. It's a battle of speed. The cobra tries intimidation, but it's not enough. Sooner or later, there's got to be contact. It's a winning blow. He's been spared from becoming mongoose dinner. The mongoose is immune to a certain quantity of the cobra's venom, but right now, he's not hungry enough to push those limits. The heat is loosening its grip. This could be a turning point for the desert's inhabitants. But it's an isolated storm. and only quenches the desert's thirst for a few short days. But the moisture has signaled the start of a termite hatch. For some, it's a change of fortune, a feast. Winged termites head out to start new colonies. But around the nest, workers have a busy schedule. They only surface to forage when conditions are perfect, and the hint of rain has triggered a harvest. Powerful jaws snip dry grass and drag it back for stockpiling. They must work fast. Termites are near the bottom of the food chain. But a predator is already at work. A termite-eating spider is setting up shop, burying itself in preparation. In the blink of an eye, the spider bursts out of hiding. It's not by chance that it knows exactly when the termites leave the nest. The spider waits beneath the sand, upside down, so the feet and mouth are at the ready. Vibrations from the prey are picked up by setae, hair-like projections on the mouthparts and feet. This is a trigger to approaching prey. The extra-long hind legs push off the sand with great leverage, launching the spider out of hiding. Speed is key. If one termite spots the spider, it'll emit a warning pheromone, instructing the colony to bunker down. So the spider needs to be on the termite before he's seen. Extreme speed makes this possible. The spider handles the termite with its forelimbs, assessing whether it's a plump enough meal. Hooked fangs pierce the carapace. A fatal bite behind the head. The termite is immobilized before it can raise the alarm. But some fight back. This is a soldier termite, bigger than the rest. But it's no match for the speedy spider. It'll kill up to 20 termites in one hunt. And it stashes them under the sand in a custom-built larder. After paralyzing its prey, the spider weaves an underground sac around the termite. The spider's legs don't stick to its own web, but it's like glue to anything else. The spider will store dead termites here for weeks before they're finally eaten. Alarm bells are ringing. The workers scurry for cover. The spider's hunt is over. But he manages one last kill. The desert surrounding the storm's footprint is bone dry again. It's what the animals have been waiting for. But for some, it's too little, too late. The rainy season didn't deliver, and the dry season is going to be unbearable. But the storm has thrown a lifeline. It's filled a small pan or clay depression, the only water for miles. springbok arrive. And other herds materialize out of the mirage. The sand grouse arrive en masse to refuel. But this water has a price. The cheetah finally sees the springbok. A pale, chanting goshawk eyes the sand grouse flocks. The prey will disappear with the water, so predators have to be quick. The goshawk makes a move. But the sand grouse haven't loaded up yet. The goshawk attacks. And the cheetah heads in for the kill. The desert hunters have evolved incredible abilities to strike at speed. But their prey has, out of necessity, developed extraordinarily speedy getaways. But if the past is anything to go by, the desert hunters won't go hungry for long.